being the mayor, huh, Karen?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. 7:03 on the 5th of January, 2022, one of our first sessions. And we are going to go into a, what is it? Special session?
Executive session. for
Executive
matters of real
session.
property.
Matters of real property. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Second? Okay, Dana White. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I as well.
So we're going to leave this. You should have the link to executive session, and then we will come back to this meeting when we're done.
All right, so I'm going to leave this one running. Okay. Oops.
I don't know if you can leave it running, Rika. That's why I'm
I
going to
just
stay here.
realized that. Yep, got it. Did you close it out?
We're not closing it out. I'm staying on the meeting. And so you have to go, if
Can
you go
you
to the,
Can you
can
mute me, please? Can you mute?
I cannot, no.
All right, so let me go back.
You need to leave the meeting and go into Stuart's and then come back into this one.
I know, but I think people will be able to hear this.
They will not be able to hear it because it's a totally different Zoom link through
Got
Stuart.
it.
That's why
Okay.
if you leave here and then log back in,
So I'm going into exec session that Stuart sent, right?
yes. Mhm. This one was a confusing one.
Okay. Join new meeting.
You have to leave this one there. Hi, Dana. Is the board returning?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
I just won. I won the race back.
Good for you, Dana. I'm proud of you.
On it. I'm on the link thing, totally.
I really didn't think I was going to find my way back first. I got so overwhelmed with all my emails.
Just so you know, the meeting is still live.
I still
We're
don't know if
live.
I'm going to find my way back.
So the public can hear everything we're saying now, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. I see the little recording. Good evening. I think I already said this earlier and then we went off, but now it's 7:36. Sorry, we're a few minutes late for the session of 5th of January. Happy New Year to everybody. Hello, Martha, who's just joined us. Should we start? Is everybody on? Hello,
You
Kevin.
don't have a, it doesn't look like you have a quorum, Mayor.
It took me a little bit of time. I just realized that they were all just with us. It took me a couple of minutes too to get it right. Hello, Trustee Lopez. Hello, Dale. Happy New Year to you as well. Martha, we need a winter background now. Next time winter, because I enjoy your background, or somewhere in the Bahamas. We are waiting. Hello, Bob. Waiting for. Hello, Manny. And here's Dana. Fabulous. Okay, good evening, everyone. I think now we're ready. We have a quorum. We're ready to start. Good evening. 7:37 on the 5th of January 2022. Happy New Year to everyone. Again, we'll do the pledge and we'll get going. It is probably a longish type of meeting. I even don't have my normal scarf on, so I'm more comfortable. There is a lot of reorg. And lots of government sort of first meeting of the year business to get through. So let's get to it. Shall we do the pledge and then get right to it? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Trustee Furchi,
Present.
Trustee White,
Present.
Trustee Lopez,
Present.
Trustee Quesada,
Present.
Mayor Levin.
Present.
Are there any mayor or trustees announcements?
I forgot to ask everyone, the team. I'm sure there are. Does anyone have any message, comments, thoughts for the evening? Looking around the gallery. Not seeing anything. Okay. I said it before, we're going to have a longish meeting. I actually debated with doing sort of my thoughts as mayor for the year commentary. I'm going to leave that for another week so that we can get through this long meeting. I hope Martha had a really good hydrated herself as she's going to read a lot tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. So the reorg meetings announce new committees, chairs, like all the meetings that we're going to have for the year and all sorts of government business for those of you that are interested. For me, it's always interesting because in December, there's a lot of thought that goes into appointments and all the other good stuff that we're going to do for the remainder of the year, in this case, 2022. So I think we can get started.
Okay, we're going to the 2022 mayoral appointments.
Am I supposed to read something here?
I believe that you are going to say who's going to be the deputy mayor, the village historian.
Yes,
and
I
the
know, but do I
treasurer.
read that or somebody else reads it? I have to bring it up. Because I don't actually have a list in front of me.
Why don't you read and then the mayor can
Yeah, I thought
answer.
actually, for some reason, I thought the last year, Stuart, you had a list, but I actually don't think I got a list. So, okay.
I just have what's on the agenda, Mayor, so I.
All right, let me get that up first though. Sorry. Give me a second, folks. Boom. Okay. No, I don't have it.
Would you like us to just read you the names?
Yeah, I can't, I had a list, I can't find it, and I didn't get it done in time for this, so, sorry about
Martha,
that.
maybe what you could do is just read the position and then the mayor can
Yeah,
fill in the blanks.
I think some of them actually don't have it, may have to actually wait,
Okay.
but we'll see, you might have it more than I do, Stuart. So I'm going to appoint deputy mayor. I'm going to continue with deputy mayor Casada to serve through 2022. I have the village historian. We're going to reappoint the village historian, Shara Cole, historian Shara Cole. Chair of the Board of Ethics, Stuart, I don't know if we concluded on that.
I don't think we did, but I know that Claude was chair last year, and I don't even think for the full year. So I think it's certainly
To
no
be
problem in
reappointed.
reappointing him.
Yeah, so we're going to reappoint Claude Tusk as the chair of the Board of Ethics. Civilian police, I'm sorry, I'm going to go to liaisons right away, or is there a break for some commentary between this?
The agenda has you going directly to
Okay.
liaisons.
So I'm going to go to the liaisons. So Civilian Police Complaint Review Board is, I'm just recalling whether we spoke to Jackie or not.
Well, actually, Mayor, this is just your liaisons. So these are the board members who are liaisons to these committees, not the actual committee chairs. That's the mayoral committee appointments is next on the
Okay,
agenda.
so I don't actually have this list, and that's a long list.
I can read it to you if you like.
Okay, yeah, that'll be
Okay.
helpful. I can't locate it.
Okay, first mayor would be Civilian Police Complaint Review Board. I believe that was Trustee Lopez last year.
Yeah, so the liaison, you're right. The liaison is Trustee Lopez. Downtown Development Fund Council is Dana White. Environmental, thank you. Environmental Advisory Council, I think it will continue with Erica for now.
Well, but we need the liaison, not the
I'm
volunteer
sorry, I'm doing
chair.
this wrong because I'm looking at different, I'm totally messed up here. Pretty embarrassing. Sorry about that, folks. Environmental Advisories Trustee White. Historic Preservation, I think we're reappointing everybody actually to the same position. So Historic Preservation, Dana, is that you?
Manny.
It's Manny, sorry. Deputy Mayor Casada, sorry about this, folks. That's the problem with not being able to find my notes. Landlord Tenant continues with Deputy Casada, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mid-Hudson Ambulance, I did not ask Trustee Fritchie whether he would do it or not. So Bob, I don't know if I can appoint you liaison unless you say so now.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. Ossining Arts Project is Trustee White. Ossining Fire Department is Trustee Fritchie. Rec Advisory Board is Trustee White. I'm going to skip Sing Sing Prison. DPW Side of Water Street is Trustee Lopez. The Zoning Board is going to be actually Deputy Mayor Casada, and the Planning is going to be Bob Fritchie.
I think Mayor, just one clarification.
Yeah.
I think for the Recreation Advisory Board,
Yeah.
it was me last time.
Oh, then it continued.
But yeah, Dana wants to have that one.
Oh, no, no.
Then welcome to give that one.
Sorry
to
about
her.
that.
Please, Trustee Casada, it's all yours.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, no.
It would have been better if I had my handwritten notes because I can't find the document online. Sorry about that. So we're keeping everything the same. We're actually switching around the zoning and planning. That's really the only change that is happening here. We will at some point, it's not for this meeting, as we move through the DRI. Right now, the mayor is on there and we'll be announcing the DRI probably at another meeting. Those are not necessarily liaisons, but we're going to add that in. Did I leave anything off that should be on here?
Not on liaisons, Mayor. Next would be committee appointments.
Okay. So, man, I'm a little bit, okay. Really, I apologize. I just can't find any of this.
Mayor, we could come back or we could even announce them next week, because I believe there's a special meeting next week if we want
Yeah,
to put them in
I
at that
can't
point.
find my notes on this.
So
I'm
why don't we
sorry.
why don't we defer C till next week,
Yeah,
and we can just go now into item, well, next would be Board of Trustees and committee appointments. We can do both C, Martha, and Roman numeral 4. We're going to put over till next week's special
yeah.
meeting.
Sorry about that.
We can get those both on. Then we can get to organizational meeting annual resolutions, Martha. Item 5, resolution A.
Okay, for
Thank
any
you.
of the resolutions, the parts that are not read can be found online or they can be found in the clerk's office. Board of Trustees meeting schedule, regular meeting. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining will hold regular meetings of the village board as set forth on the schedule below for the year 2022 at 7:30 p.m. until further notice via video conferencing pursuant to New York State Senate Bill S 5001 signed by Governor Hochul. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments?
Just looking at January, there's no meeting next week?
Oh, there is.
The work session is the next agenda item, Trustee Fritchie.
This is just the, yeah,
Legislative.
Session. Yeah.
right. We do
Okay.
those, then we go to the next ones,
That's always.
the next series of them. So I think we're ready to vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And Mayor, just so the board and the mayor and everyone is aware, the governor's, the current law allowing for the meetings to be conducted remotely expires on the 15th of January. It is expected that either via executive order or by legislation passed before that date, that this will be extended,
Right.
but just so everyone is aware.
Right, thank you. I would be shocked if we were not continuing remotely for the next few months, at least. Okay, we're on to B, Board of Trustees work sessions.
Yeah, Board of Trustees meeting schedule, work sessions. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining will hold work sessions of the Board of Trustees as set forth on the schedule below for the year 2022 at 7:30 p.m. until further notice via video conferencing pursuant to New York State Senate Bill S 5001 signed by Governor Hochul. All those in favor?
Nope, Martha, you need a motion first.
Sorry. I'm jumping ahead. You have a motion.
Oh,
Second.
Any comments? Okay, Martha.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Official newspaper Gazette. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby designates the Gazette as the official newspaper of the Village of Ossining for 2022 and or the Journal News as necessary. Do I have a motion?
so move.
Second.
Any comment? Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Mileage allowance. Resolved that wherever it shall be appropriate for compensate village officials and or village employees for mileage, they shall be reimbursed at a rate of $0.585 per mile to be paid upon claim voucher after audit and approval in accordance with IRS standards. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Retaining bond counsel. Resolved that upon recommendation of the village treasurer, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby retains the firm of Ora Carrington Sutphill Cliff LLP 666 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10103-1-001 to serve as bond counsel effective immediately in accordance with the letter of correspondence dated December 28th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Comments? Okay, Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Retaining financial advisor, resolved that upon the recommendation of the village treasurer, the board of trustees of the village of Ossining hereby retains the firm of Capital Markets Advisors LLC, 11 Grace Avenue, Suite 308, Great Neck, New York, 11021, to provide financial advisory services as it pertains to issuances of village indebtedness effective immediately in accordance with the proposal received December 27th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Dale, this is just, it's the same people we've been using, right? She's on.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yep.
okay,
that is correct. And there's no increase in fees. So
great,
Even better.
thank you.
Thanks.
Yay. That may be the only time we hear that statement tonight. Thank you. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Appointment special counsel for litigation matters, resolved that upon recommendation by the Corporation Council, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees appoint Hartz Watson Burks LLP 55 Church Street, Suite 211, White Plains, New York, 10601, as special counsel for litigation matters in accordance with the engagement letter dated December 16th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Nope. Same attorneys we've been using and we're continuing. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Appointment of special counsel for land use matters 2022, resolved that upon recommendation of the Corporation Council, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees hereby retains the firm of McCullough, Goldberg and Sott, 1311 Mamaroneck Avenue, Suite 340, White Plains, New York, 10605, to serve as special counsel for land use matters for calendar year 2022 in accordance with the engagement agreement dated November 1st, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? I think this is a ditto on this, same contracts. Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Reappointment of special counsel for labor and personnel matters, resolved that upon recommendations of the Corporation Council, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees hereby reappoints Keenan Bean, PC 445 Hamilton Avenue, 15th floor, White Plains, New York, to serve as special counsel to the village for labor and personnel matters for the period of January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, in accordance with the retainer agreement dated December 28th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. Third.
Any comments?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Finance, adoption of investment policy, whereas pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 39, local governments in the state of New York, including villages, are required to adopt a comprehensive written investment policy. And whereas local governments are required to review their investment policies on an annual basis, and whereas the Village of Ossining has reviewed its policy since adoption in 1993, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees does hereby approve and adopt the following investment policy for the Village of Ossining, subject to the approval of Corporation Council. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any questions on this one? Oh, Martha?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Going on to Resolution K on page 8. Finance Debt Management Policy, resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby adopts the debt management policy as follows. The treasurer will monitor the debt portfolio annually for refinancing opportunities through services of a financial advisor. This can be done in connection to the continuing disclosure process. The minimum criteria for bond refunding are as follows. 1, refunding shall produce savings equal to 3% of bonds to be refinanced. 2, savings after insurance premiums should be 2.5 times underwriter's discount and other costs of issuance. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Questions, comments? Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Finance adoption of procurement policy, whereas section 104-B of the general municipal law requires the governing body of every municipality to adopt a procurement policy for all goods and services which are not required by law to be publicly bid. And whereas comments have been solicited from all officers in the village of Ossining involved in the procurement process, now therefore be it resolved that the village of Ossining does hereby adopt the following procurement policy, which is intended to apply to all goods and services which are not required by law to be publicly bid. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second,
Any comments on this?
No, ma'am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, going on to resolution M on page 11, personnel management benefit plan, whereas the village of Ossining has heretofore historically provided and does currently provide certain employment benefits from elected officials, managers, and appointed personnel. And whereas the village desires to ratify and reaffirm the benefits which have been and will continue to be provided to elected officials, managers, and appointed personnel. Now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with past practice, the village of Ossining shall continue to provide benefits for elected officials, managers, and appointed personnel as follows. Do I have a motion?
So move.
second,
Any questions or comments? Martha?
All those in favor?
aye,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, going on to page 12 for resolution N, Village of Ossining financial goals and policies. Resolved that the Board of Trustees does hereby approve and adopt the following financial goals and policies for the Village of Ossining. Do I have a motion?
So move.
second,
Second.
Any comments? I'm going to just comment that whatever we've been doing, Dale and company, has worked really well through good times and bad times. Our conservative stewardship has actually fared well for us, both in good times when we might want to take advantage of low interest rates and have money to invest and have money in our reserves, or when we've been through recessions and through bad economic times. A few years ago, the ship was very steady. Since we live on a river town, I always like to use those analogies. And we continue to have a very strong fund balance and a strong positioning, a strong bond rating, better than most. I sometimes will read what goes on in other villages and towns and cities. And as soon as the economy goes one way or the other, they just don't have the right reserves. And so I'm going to say that our goals and policies and our vision of where things should be, which has been stewarded, I think, by our finance department and village management, really like A+. So what's our rating now? What's our bond rating, Dale?
We're at AA2.
That's like almost as good as it could possibly get. So I'm a big fan of exactly where we have been and to continue doing what we've been doing. I don't know if anybody else has comments, but if not, Martha.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so then can I have a motion and a second to adjourn from the organizational meeting into the regular meeting?
So move.
second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sorry.
It's okay,
Trying to
you're
write down the
writing, I
time.
get it.
Thank you. All those in favor, okay.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody? Okay, moving on to administrative reports, Village Manager Karen Dory.
Thank you, Deputy Clerk. Happy New Year, everyone. We kicked off a busy 2022. First off, I am pleased to appoint Olga Montes as an alternate member of the Zoning Board to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Olga is a long-term Ossining resident, a mother of 2 teenage children. Olga has worked over 25 years in government and school administrative roles. She's a passionate resident who is eager to take this opportunity to serve the community that, in her words, has been very, very good to her and her family. We have been meeting with New York State and on the DRI, our $10 million grant, and the state will be signing a planning firm to work with us. And we will be kicking that off, meeting with the planning firm next week to review have a site visit and review the proposed projects. And over the next 6 months, we'll be working with the state-appointed planning agency to solidify our project proposals and allocate work with the state to allocate DRI funding accordingly. The state is working with us to establish a local planning committee, which will be comprised of local residents and stakeholders, along with representatives from the Regional Economic Development Council. And this is a process that's very similar to the comprehensive planning process that we undertook not too long ago, where a committee is established to steward the planning process and engage the community more broadly. And staff and will then work with the appointed planning firm to coordinate and manage the process. And we anticipate it take about 6 months. We're also moving forward with plans for the Route 9 road diet, which included a meeting with the state DOT today to get their input on our proposed plan. And we are hopeful to get this project, more traction on this project, no pun. The Recycle Right app launched this week, and I really want to turn this over to big kudos to Maddie Zahat and Jamie. This was, you know, it's a little thing, but it's made everybody really happy. So if you notice when you got your, you probably got something in the mail this week. So now you can download an app onto your Android or Apple phones, and you can get a customized refuse and recycling schedule right there for your home address. And you can opt in for text or robocalls to receive reminders for when the schedule changes and alerts for weather or holidays. So we're saving money. We're not using paper, although paper calendars will be available upon request for those who want that. But big kudos to Maddie and Jamie for getting this out. It was no small feat, but it's one of those things that is going to have a really nice impact and bring us into more alignment with being the greenest community in the country.
The calendars were sent out though, right, to everybody this year.
Yeah, this will be the last one.
Right.
So you would have gotten.
Nobody should get nervous. Everybody got, well, at least, I mean, I got mine. So I'm assuming everybody got theirs 3 days ago or so, or in the last few days. But this is a transition year, so that we're giving people some time to sort of practice, get used to it, and give us feedback. If there are any problems, got almost an entire year, like 350 days almost, because they printed up the month before, to tell us if there are problems that we should be aware of or ways to make it better, because this time next year we minus 10 days because it arrives usually the last week of the year. We're getting rid of the paper and moving online. So this is great. We talked about it a year ago, and here we are. Thank you.
Kudos everybody. It's a really good initiative. We also have been making progress on our 200 Main Street remediation grant project. So while the building is now ready, we've gone through all the evaluation. We're in the process of preparing bid documents for asbestos remediation. And that will be distributed within the coming weeks with a focus on minority and women-owned businesses, as well as service-disabled veteran-owned businesses, as in alignment with the projected goals from the state Homes and Community Renewal, who's funding this project. And we've also been approved for an extension because of COVID. We were a little bit behind, as most grants were, because they started the process later. So we did get an extension on this. We're approved for that. But the good news is everything's moving ahead, and we're on schedule and back on track now. As I think we may have mentioned last time, I'm going to say it again, we did win a consolidated funding application grant from the Department of State, and that was for $18,750 to study firehouse consolidation. So we're excited to be doing that. And I just want to also add that we got in our very last grant application of the year, which was applying for 2021 Tree City status, and this is the second year we're applying. So we're hopeful for that. So again, kudos to Maddie Zahash, who has really been leading an effort to green Ossining and doing it pretty well. And I want to also thank Jamie Hoffman for the continuous improvements she's done to being able to communicate via social media, get information out. She's doing a lot of work right now to make sure people have information about COVID and about different state programs, county initiatives, things like that. And as challenging as the last week has been, or the first week of the year, it has also been a lot of excitement, a lot of progress. And again, I want to commend the very excellent team we have here at the village.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. I just wanted to maybe do an addendum because I am finding some things that I actually have for tonight, just not the big stuff, but we'll get there. I thought it would be interesting, and we may not have a lot of attendees tonight, but I thought that even amongst us, we'd find it interesting. One of the things that I asked the village manager and Maddie was about grants this year, because it felt like a lot of energy was put towards grants. It was even more than I thought. There are still some sort of out there that are being worked on that as we get closer to entering our pipeline, we'll be announcing. Just want to read off though, so we all feel good about 2022. We got to have something to feel good about. So because it's still, things are still a little bit rough. So I just want to say that amongst all of the pandemic and in line with what Karen just brought to our attention that the village is working on, with the work of everybody in this gallery, you know, from staff to elected officials, etc. Just to add up some math, in 2021, the grants we awarded, and for a number of years, we did not get all that many grants. I've got to be honest with you. We didn't get the kind of traction that we are getting in 21 and going into 22. So the number of grants awarded, Department of Environmental Conservation, 125,000 for shoreline revitalization and community connectivity. From the Department of State, 18,750 for the fire department consolidation. With the town, Empire State Development is the $10 million DRI that we talked about. New York State Energy Research and Development, we have about 5 there, 3,000 to regarding the charging stations, 5,000 for clear energy communities, for competing. I don't want to get into the technical, but we got $5,000 basically to help with bike racks, etc., to help with our environment and move into all kinds of alternate energy connectivity and mobility. We got $10,000 clean energy communities. Again, to really look at to look at proposals that we got from NYSERDA, another 5,000 for rebate for electric car. I guess we named it Sparky, Maddie. Is that one of the blue, like very bright blue? And I'm grateful you guys bought those Nissans. They are totally unavailable for the past 6 months. I can't find an electric car. So I think the timing was great and the use of it is great, and oil is going up. So using electric, all good. Department of Housing and Urban Development, 94,000 for Nelson Sitting Park, the playground replacement, 57,000 for Old Croton Aqueduct playground replacement, 250,000 for Spring Street walkability improvements, phase 1. That's the one between Spring and Broad and Lafayette, 250,000 for Spring Street walkability. That's Lafayette and Scarborough Manor. And NYSERDA, $5,000 again for electric car. There's certain things that we're doing for environmental stuff that as you hit different plateaus, you get more and more. So the whole idea of grants, which gets money from other governmental agencies and different layers of government. I think the police department also, by the way, got a grant last year, right? 10 grand you guys got. So all of these grants are as a way of actually getting more done for the village by working with community stakeholders, by working with nonprofits, by working really well with other government entities and not sort of isolating ourselves, but rather opening ourselves up for shovel-ready projects and initiatives and some consultation work that gets us moving forward without charging this all to our local taxpayers. This is coming from different entities, and that's great because it adds up to a whole lot of money to do great things for this village, especially both infrastructure and also quality of life that will get us even more in 2022. So kudos to staff and frankly to the elected officials who have always been supportive of these initiatives. And when other entities see us all working together and working towards common goals, things just all get lifted up together. And I think there's more, not I think, I know there's more to come as they become available for public sort of communication. We're going to make that well known as well. So like I've sort of forgotten how to smile because wearing a mask all day at work, I like don't need to smile or not smile anymore. So imagine a big smile on my face because it's there to tell you that I'm thrilled because this is all money coming from different entities to make this village just keep moving forward in a very positive way for its residents. So I thank all of you guys, but we don't really talk about a lot. Grants is a big change in 22 that we did not have in the past 10 years and longer. Certainly not this many and of this magnitude. So I wanted to just add that to your commentary, village manager. So thanks. And that also requires a whole lot of work. The sourcing them, the doing them, and then the execution of all these grants is a lot of staff time and a lot of work, but all good stuff. So good way to start 2022. I think we're ready to go on. Martha, you want to take it away?
Sure. Corporation Counsel Stuart Kahan.
Thank you, Martha. Good evening, folks, and Happy New Year to all.
Happy New Year.
The last 2 weeks were nice and quiet here at 16 Croton Avenue. If it was not for Maddie, I wouldn't have known if there was anyone in the manager's suite, and allowed me to clean the office up, and it looks pretty good, actually. Found a lot of papers that will be helpful on future things with a lot of different properties. A lot of contracts were reviewed over the past couple of weeks. My thanks to Maddie with regard to 200 Main Street and Paul with regard to that. Those bid documents are, with the exception of putting the dates in, those are done. So those will be ready to go. The contract for the chiller replacement over at the rec center is signed, and that work hopefully will be starting shortly. We're just waiting for the DPW to send out the notice to proceed. And so things are moving ahead with that. The first zoning board meeting of the year will be next Tuesday. It will be via Zoom. So if anyone wants to watch, participate, look at the documents that are on, please feel free to do so. They are there. And 2 weeks after that will be the first planning board meeting of the year, which will also be a busy meeting. Both boards have busy agendas. And I thank personally the village manager for appointing Ms. Montez to the zoning board. We, particularly with our land use boards, are in desperate need of members to make sure that we have our quorums and have things done. So it's wonderful to have someone else come on aboard, and they'll get the necessary training and go forward with that. Otherwise, it will be a busy year. I'm not going to take up too much more of the board's time now, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more to discuss as we go through the months. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Police Chief Kevin Sylvester.
Good evening. Just a couple of quick announcements from me. Lots of staffing changes down here. Our department is currently undergoing something of a restructuring with a number of retirements, resignations. Last week, we said goodbye to Captain Giorgio. I wasn't able to be here for that, so I just want to make a few remarks about him. 24-year veteran of law enforcement, starting in the city of Mount Vernon, became a second-generation Ossining police officer after his father, Detective Joe Giorgio. He served on our motorcycle unit, our SWAT team, street crime, the district attorney's narcotics unit. He served as a sergeant, a detective sergeant, a lieutenant, and finally as our captain, running as our executive officer. I walked down the hall yesterday looking to talk to my friend, and he's not here. So tough time for us here right now. It's not easy to find great leaders, and that's something that most people won't know, because the best of them keep to themselves. They do their job quietly. They do it with respect. They do it with honor, with courage, and with integrity. So not going to be easy to replace him, but we look forward to new adventures in his absence. We yesterday, or Monday rather, started 4 new recruits at the academy. The board met them a few weeks back, and I understand that the board was present for the swearing in of Officer Valencia, who's now on field training and began this week. This week, I began my term as president of the Westchester County Chiefs of Police Association, and I was reappointed to the International Association Chiefs of Police Professional Services and Ethics Committee. So 2 things that will be continuing for me. That's all for the police department today. Thanks.
Chief, just a quick question. First of all, boy, I got to tell you, I'm waiting till we can do those swearing-ins in person. I remember them as just being very collegial and really like a lot of fun. Certainly for the elected officials who got to see the folks that we don't always see. We did our best via Zoom as much as we could, so that was enjoyable. In total, there are how many new police officers? 5?
5 right now, yes.
5. And how many openings do you still have?
4 plus the employees that we haven't seen in very long periods of time. We have a lot of openings. We're very short staffed.
Okay, good. I know you're pushing for more. It was nice to meet everybody, and I thank Trustee Lopez also for participating in the interviews. I don't remember if there was another trustee involved. I apologize. You guys could see that tonight.
Deputy Mayor Casada.
Deputy Mayor, because I thought that was, and out of all of the folks, we also have somebody off the Spanish speaking list, right? That we had, so that's going to be very useful as well in our community. Very excited. I've never seen a husband and wife police team. I'm sure we've had them before. It's not uncommon, but that was an added, 2 people in the same family serving the community as police officers. Kudos to them as well. That was enjoyable, and thank you to the trustees for the interview, for interviewing. That helps the elected officials as well to get to know the police officers, their background, their history, and to be involved as well in the process. Anybody have any questions or other comments?
Yeah, I got just a quick question, Chief. When do we canvass again? Seeing that you have openings and that you're saying you're very short staffed, is there a process in mind that you have moving forward?
I'm not sure that we're prepared to discuss that in a public meeting tonight.
All right. So maybe Trustee Fritchie, we could discuss it, in either matters of personnel or.
I mean, I'm glad to
another-
talk offline. I didn't come prepared for that conversation tonight, and usually it's not something that we would discuss publicly anyhow.
All right, so we can discuss it in a different forum. Anybody else? Okay, Martha.
Okay, is there anybody here who would like to make an organizational announcement?
Is there anything going on for Martin Luther King Day, by the way, that we are aware of? I didn't see anything. I would have made that in my announcement, and I looked for it earlier today as I was sort of looking at different websites and different things. Did we just not know about things, or did I miss it?
No one submitted anything for the web
Hold,
blast.
hold on. Let me see, because BOMA just sent out something today, but I don't know if they publicly announced it yet.
Oh, okay. I'm just
I
saying
think,
that.
It will be a fully the MLK service that they usually do. Usually it's a Star at Bethlehem, not always. They're working on it now, but it's going to be virtual.
Okay, but that's an actual church service. I'm talking about community event that is going on. Is there anything that that somebody knows about that I just maybe missed or didn't see? Okay, it's unusual, but I think based on what the schools all went through this morning all over Westchester, and the return to schools, I think families are really, that's sort of what's on their mind, and this is taking a little bit of a second seat. But as we hear about it, let's just remind me if I forget to sort of make these announcements. Okay, I feel a little bit better. I just thought maybe I missed it. Okay, so Martha?
Is there anybody here from the public who would like to make, who would like to address the board on any of the resolutions on tonight's agenda?
I don't
Okay,
think so.
seeing no one, we're going on to village board resolutions. Approval of minutes, December 15th, 2021. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the December 15th, 2021 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
Oh,
Second.
Comments? Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of voucher detail, January 5th, 2022. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated January 5th, 2022 in the amount of $9,054,984.30. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Manny, did you look at the voucher or somebody else? Because I know
No,
Dana sometimes.
I did. I will prefer, I'm gonna defer this for Dell to kind of give us a better explanation
a
than
big
I can
number.
explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a big number, a little scary when I was going over, but Dell will do, I will prefer, like I said, I will defer this to Dell. So
Right, although December, I think, was quite a small number, right,
Yeah.
Dale?
Good evening.
Hi.
We did have one large and one small run in December, and essentially the large run in December was because of our New York State retirement invoice payments. This voucher detail report is quite large because for the first meeting of the year, we bring to the board to have all of our blanket purchase orders approved so that we may pay all of our health bills, our workers' comp bills throughout the year without waiting for, each meeting. So that we don't get hung up in paying those bills. So the total blanket purchase orders of that 9 million number is $7,656,750. So that is the bulk of what you're approving at this point. We did include the Excel schedule, which gives you a little more detail of the breakout for the blanket purchase orders. And we also are paying for 2 months of water bills on this run as well, which further inflated.
What are the water bills for, Dale?
Well, what we pay for out, we do charge out as well. There's a little bit of lag on that, but we will eventually be reimbursed in one way or shape or form for that. But that the first meeting is always a big one because we do ask for those blankets
Right.
to be approved.
Okay, thank you. So are we in the middle of a vote, Martha?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Is there any continuing business of the board? Nope. Okay, moving on to new business of the board. Change in 2022 fee schedule taxi fares. Resolved that the Village of Ossining 2022 fee schedule is amended as follows. Taxi fares payable by taxi passenger to taxi driver. First passenger from any point having its origin within the Village of Ossining to any point within the Village of Ossining, $6. Each additional passenger going from the same point of origin to the same point of destination as first passenger, $1. One child 5 years of age or under will ride free if accompanied by an adult passenger. And be it further resolved that this change to the 2022 village fee schedule shall go into effect immediately. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments or question? This is actually we're amending something so that everybody, consumers and providers alike, get a fair day's wage for fair day's work. And this seems like a fair amount. So any comments?
Yeah, I just have one question, not a comment. I
Mhm.
guess probably Maddie, are you coordinating this with the town board as well in regards to these changes? Do they have to because they have to update their fees as well, correct?
I think the clerk's office, and Martha maybe can speak to it, has been handling the sort of conversation with the town, but they're aware of this. This was actually a request from the clerk's office to make this change.
Okay.
Yeah, they amended it because the way it was set up, the request that we approved, if you do the math, does not bode well for the drivers. And I think that was just
Yeah.
maybe I would call it a little bit of an oversight, whatever. It's not a biggie, but from this perspective, the language has to be changed and everybody has to be informed. And I think it's a fair amount. Any other comments, questions?
I just want to say thank you, Stuart, as always. Martha, Maddie, and obviously Sue as well for all that coordination challenges and work.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to both, particularly to Martha and Sue, because Sue was the one who met with the taxi drivers. And the one issue they had with regard to the fees was this, because as the mayor pointed out, if you figure it out, essentially, if they were carrying just 2 passengers, they'd be making less than they were making under the prior fare. So this at least, it bodes for them. And since they need to put the fare on the side of the cab, we wanted to be able to get this done as quickly as possible so that they could do that without any changes. So I want to thank everybody, but particularly Martha and Sue for, bringing this to our attention so that we can get it changed.
Thank you all. Martha, we're in the middle of vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Refer to the Village of Ossining Planning Board for recommendation of the application by IPPSolar Integration LLC for special permit and no objection to the planning board serving as lead agency for SEQRA. Whereas by letter dated December 27th, 2021, IPPSolar Integration LLC applicant applied to the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees for special permit pursuant to Village Code Section 270-54. And whereas the applicant seeks to install a battery energy storage system, BESS, by the existing Stop and Shop supermarket at the Arcadian Shopping Center. And whereas the project consists of the installation of 1 Tesla Megapack unit with a total energy capacity of 3,080 kilowatts to be, out of KWH. I think I read that one on, my apologies.
That's okay, kilowatt hours.
Kilowatt hours, thank you, to be connected to the main utility grid, thereby, according to the applicant, benefiting the community. And whereas the applicant's proposed project requires the issuance of a special permit by the Board of Trustees. And whereas Village Code Section 270-54 provides, before the village board shall give any consideration to review the application for such special permit, the planning board shall review the application for the purpose of preliminary site development plan review in light of the general considerations herein and specifying specific standards herein for special permits. Whereas the planning board shall transmit its recommendations to the village board within 90 days of the receipt of a complete application for site development plan. And whereas the planning board has prepared a notice of intent to serve as lead agency for purposes of the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning by the IPPSolar Integration LLC for special permit is referred to the planning board for the planning board to consider and provide its recommendations to the Board of Trustees. And be further resolved that the Board of Trustees does not object to the planning board serving as lead agency for the application to install the proposed battery energy storage system. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, Stuart or somebody.
Can
I
explain?
understand please explain. I understand
Happy.
the words. I know that there's
I'm happy
Tesla there
to.
now. Thank you.
Sure. This applicant, which was the applicant that was involved with placing the solar panels on the roof of the Stop and Shop, has now come before the planning board to install what's called a Tesla Megapack, and by the acronym BESS, Battery Energy Storage System. It's not going to be connected to the solar, but what it's going to do is basically they'll purchase electricity at night. It will be held there, and then they will be able to distribute it on the grid, basically storing the electricity as needed. The plan is to put it at one of 2 potential locations in the back of the Arcadian Shopping Center. Because it is as noted here, an extensive or an intensive utility use, it requires a special permit from the Board of Trustees. While battery energy storage systems are not specifically referenced in our code, we do have utility systems in our code, and so it would require the special permit. We're coming before the board fairly quickly here for the following reason. Funding for this is provided through NYSERDA, the New York State Energy Research Development Agency. The applicant is uncertain how long that funding will be available. It may be there through February, through March, through April. But the faster that this process can go to the planning board for its review and then come back to this board for possibly granting the special permit will then allow the applicant to get everything taken care of through NYSERDA. They have already gotten approval from Con Ed to hook into the grid. That will cost the applicant approximately $146,000 to do that, but that approval has been given by Con Ed already. There are numerous BESS systems throughout the state of New York. There are some which are actually giga systems, so they're 1,000 times what we're already looking at here. This one is, as I said, it's about 3,080 kilowatt hours to be used. Again, the company that is doing this has already been involved with the solar project at Stop and Shop. This resolution would simply allow the planning board to proceed with providing this board with its recommendation. So it can come back to this board with regard to the possibly of granting of a special permit for the installation of the BESS system. But it is something that is very, that the NYSERDA folks are very big on, best way to say it. The town actually has a BESS ordinance within their code. So does the town of Yorktown, and many other municipalities do. Upstate, you see a lot of these, but you see them actually on the giga side, not even on the mega side, just to get these battery storage systems. But you can actually have a battery storage system for your own home if you wanted to. But this is one that will be, as I said, put into the in the rear near Stop and Shop. The exact site location is not yet determined. One of the things that will be done if it is ultimately approved is there will be training for OFD and first responders with regard to potential issues that may happen with regard to the any problems vis-a-vis the battery systems. But again, this is now to get this back to the planning board. So one, they can get themselves declared as lead agency, and two, that they can provide this board with a recommendation as to whether or not the special permit should be granted.
So in all of your discovery, and I can see the joy on your face of learning, this is great, right? And
I have a lot. I have downloaded so much stuff on these things. It's like
I can see it on your face, to be honest with you. I've also looked into the Tesla packs because they are available for homes actually as a power source. So run me through following the buck. The Arcadian is a private business owned by landlord, and this is
right.
a private entity, and so it's being viewed really a little bit as a utility. Who's making money where on this from A through Z business model?
What I can tell you, Mayor, is this, because I did ask that question actually of our planner, because my question is this power, which is essentially just going to go back to the tenants at Arcadian? And the answer to that is no. It is actually going to go out to the community at large. Okay. Now, how the applicant or Mayflower, which is the engineering company, where I'm sure that there is they have an agreement with Erstad Biddle, the owner of the Arcadian Shopping Center, in terms of rent and things like that. I don't know, because I know I can say this: Arcadian has signed off on the application. They have given IPPSolar the authorization to file it. But my concern was that it was in fact just essentially for Arcadian and for Arcadian's use. But the answer is that is not the case. They are actually hooking into one of the power poles that is just outside of Arcadian. And when the power has to be returned back, it will go out. I'm not sure, to be honest, I don't know all the finances on it. They've only been before the planning board. I'm not actually sure if they've been before the planning board once briefly Then we had another meeting with some of their folks when we told them that they would have to come before the Board of Trustees for a special permit. So that's another question that we can certainly ask. But I just don't have the full answer to it. But I do know that it is not, if you want to say it this way, an Arcadian-only project.
It's also not a benefit to the village either, because it's not the grid is not helping the village in any way, even though they're plugging
Right.
into utility, which is a Con Ed entity. So it's other utilities actually pay us. That is not actually what's happening here. This is totally a private, it's like another, just like those Tesla stations that they have.
Right.
People think the village put them there. I continuously answer to people, this has nothing to do with it's private property, and I'm sure, I don't know, but I assume Tesla is paying the landlord like any other business. It's its own
I
little
would suspect.
business. It would be interesting for us to know, there's a lot of write-ups also about the Bitcoin technology and the emission and the damage it does to the environment. I don't think that's the case here with Tesla. My only point is I feel like we don't know a heck of a lot about it on two levels. One, following the buck and how this all works and how it involves the village or should involve. Two, do we learn more about the Tesla packs that maybe the village should be looking into Tesla packs for its facilities if it makes sense for us. Right now, it's a private entity looking at it and sourcing it. That's great. Should we be taking the opportunity and calling the Arcadian and saying we'd like to learn more about it from a very positive way, like a benefit to others in the community. The single home usage, or for landlord ones, Tesla's doing a really good job marketing that. If you go on their website, they're happy to sell you whatever you want.
Right.
You can go to the Tesla store and buy a pack for your house or two. So they're okay. I mean, that I understand, but it's this, how do we benefit from it possibly? Would be of interest, I think, should be of interest to this board. It's the next level technology, both in the positives and negatives, and maybe even work with the Arcadian in some way if there's a opportunity. I just don't know what I don't know, to be honest with you.
Mayor, and I appreciate that. I think those are questions that that this board, and I will mention it to the planner, can have the planning board ask, because they will have to come before the planning board for their approval from the planning board anyway. With regard to the particular project. But I have communicated with the architect and the engineer on this, so I'm certainly happy to find that out. The only entity I know that is certainly making money off of this is Con Ed, because they're getting paid $146,000 to let these folks hook up, which is the only specific number that we got there right now. But I'm happy to, I will certainly, endeavor to get those other questions and find that out. There may be other locations in the village where the village itself wants to, as you said.
Exactly.
Put these
The planning board may not be the
cracks in.
right place, Stuart. Maybe, Karen, we need to speak to these folks because, they're sending people in to get an approval. Those are generally not the same people that might be speaking in a partnership mode. I mean, I just feel I'm always so grateful for the job being a mayor or a trustee, because here's something new that we should be learning from and learn more about it. Why not? So I appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, Stuart.
Sure.
Anybody else have any questions or comments about this request? I mean, we're just saying we're passing it on to the planning, right?
Right.
Okay. That's what we're voting on. Anybody object to it? Any issues, comments? Nope. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, authorizing the village manager to sign the land acquisition and development agreement with 30 Water Street with WBP Development LLC. Resolved that upon review by the Corporation Counsel, the village manager is authorized to sign the land acquisition and developmental agreement with WPB Development LLC for 80 Bedford Road, Chappaqua, New York, for the project site consisting of the former Village Department of Public Works site located on Main Street, Water Street, and Central Avenue in the Village of Ossining. The premises are more particularly described in Schedule A to the Land Acquisition and Development Agreement, which premises comprise approximately 3.117 acres and includes the following 4 parcels as designated on the Village of Ossining tax map. 89.19-6/2026, 27, 28, and 29. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Comments from the board? We had a meeting about this, but and I'm not pushing for more conversation. However, Trustee Lopez and Fritchie do go with the village manager and others meetings regarding this topic. It's the 30 Water Street is, we lovingly call it the DPW site. For those of you that are wondering if it's the same thing, yes, in fact, it is that property. I don't know if anybody wants to comment further on this topic. Not seeing anybody.
I'll just
Am I
quickly.
seeing?
No, I'll
Okay.
just quickly say that this is the last time also that folks may have heard about this project was through the DRI. It is a key component of the DRI, and so all this is helping to advance things. And so grateful for Trustee Fritchie's partnership, grateful for the staff, and excited to be moving this forward.
Thank you. I'm seeing a green box around Deputy Casada. Is that just my gallery, or is it, did you move or unclick your mute or something? Okay. Bob, you're good? Or do you have something to add?
Oh, I echo exactly what Omar says. It's an exciting thing right now, so I think this is a great thing for the village.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dana. I see a green box around you. Did you want to say something?
well, I will say that I think it's, exciting because now we're moving forward. It's kind of a big thing. This is a big part of a big step. So, I'm excited to be taking it.
Right. I agree. I mean, this is in 21, this board worked with the staff on lots of legislation. What did we do, like 16 or 17, Stuart? That's a lot. In case anybody keeps track of these things, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of accomplishments. And there were some major initiatives started from a consultative point of view, but also from real material, shovel ready, ground moving initiatives. This one having to do with housing and near our waterfront. So yeah, just because you haven't heard a lot about it doesn't mean a lot of work is being done. This is the next step in the journey. It's a big step. This entire board has unanimously always supported the initiative. We continue to do so, and we will keep our eye on the details as we are supposed to. And right now it is all thumbs up. Let's get it going. So we're ready for the vote, I think.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Is there anybody here from the public who would like to address the board on issues not relating to the agenda, but of relevance to the common good of the village? Seeing no one, can I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting? Is there an executive
No,
We're adjourning to advice of counsel. Thank you.
advice of counsel?
here
Okay.
we go.
Okay. Motion and a second?
So
Second.
Second.
I don't know who did the first or second, but I'm assuming Martha, you did, that you got that. Good. So vote.
Aye.
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 Stuart, are
Right.
we going into the same executive that you sent out?
No, there's Jamie sent around something for the advice of counsel, so you should have that. If you don't have it, I'll resend it to everybody.
Okay,
Karen and Maddie, you are not needed for advice of counsel.
great. So, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, thank you. First meeting of 2022. I'm wishing everyone again a great 2022. Stay healthy, wear those masks, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you.
Good night.